So hello, everyone. Welcome to week 400 of our Atlanta real estate update. Now, I think it's maybe week 13, but it's been a little while.
Lucky 13.
Joining us here on Zoom and on Facebook Live. We're on Facebook Live. And as usual, I am Katie Shank with Keller Williams in Midtown. And here with me is Robby King, my partner and buyer's agent extraordinaire. And then we've got Jonathan Minsk with Ameris Mortgage, he's our mortgage lender. And then today we have a special guest with 210 Home Warranty, is Felix Buitrago, and he can wave and say hi to everybody.
Hey,
he will be talking later today about what he does with home warranties and how they benefit the home purchase and sale. So anyway, so just like we do every week, we're going to get our update of what happened over the last week of numbers in the past week in Atlanta and town. So Robby's going to share it with us now. Thanks, Robby.
Sure. So I'm going to actually show the graphic, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Most of the time I forget. So I'm going to share it this week. Oh, just kidding. I can't share it unless you give me permission. It's not crucial. Also, you're muted, so I can't tell what you're saying, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the stats for the last week. So all of these stats are for every closing that was inside the perimeter. So if you haven't joined the call before, what we do is we just take a look at what's happened between last week's call and this week's call, and we just narrow it down to everything inside the perimeter. So that's City of Atlanta, City of Decatur, East Point College Park, everything that's inside the perimeter. So for the last 7 days, the average sales price was just north of $446,000. Median days on the market for those properties that did close was only 21 days. I think last week maybe it was like 28 or 30. So 21 days between listing and going binding under a contract that closed. The months of available inventory, as you know, as we've talked about on these calls for the last several weeks, the months of available inventory, that number only really changes once a month. And that's how we measure the market to determine whether or not it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. What we've seen for the last 13 weeks is that, we've been monitoring that closely to see if COVID or anything was going to affect the real estate market in terms of tilting the scales one way or the other. And it actually hasn't. There's 3.8 months of available inventory, meaning if nothing else came to market right now inside the perimeter, it would only take 3.8 months to sell all of the listings inside the perimeter. And what that means is it's definitely still a seller's market. The median sales to list price ratio is a little north of 98% for these transactions for the last week. So 98% of asking price is basically the average or the median of what they are getting at the closing table. So for listings, 419 new listings came to market last week. That includes single family and attached homes, condos, townhomes. I think 4 were listed as coming soon. 126 went pending. 149 sales closed in the last week. So for those, including those 419 new listings, right now we have 4,323 total active sales inside the perimeter.
Awesome. Sorry, I was on mute and I had a technical difficulty, but now you can share if you want to pop up the quick graphic if you like. This is people, but those are great numbers. And again, just showing the consistency of the last, 13, there they are. So this shows, this is what's happened last week, but maybe at the beginning of March, we had a little bit of a slowdown, but outside of that, this has really been kind of where we've been going, during March, April, and May, and now going into the summer, I see these numbers staying very consistent, if not possibly even tighter in some respects. So yes, thank you for sharing that, Robby. And all of these graphics and details, we can get to any of you guys at any time. And we can also narrow down specifically, of course, to your neighborhood, you know, your area of town, wherever you are. We look at those numbers all the time with the neighborhoods that we sell in a lot. And we can really hone it down to literally, you know, your little subdivision, your street, every activity that's gone on here in the last few weeks to months. So if anybody has any questions about that on Facebook or on the Zoom, feel free to write in the chat or in the Facebook watch party. We've got it open on our phones and we can see if you have a question, let us know. So now we're going to move on to Jonathan Minsk with Ameris Mortgage. He's our mortgage lender, and he'll share what's gone on with him in the last week in a mortgage business.
Thanks, Katie. I just want to say something or make a comment on something that Robby mentioned, and that's that the whole coming soon concept, you know, that's out there, and, you know, advertising that a listing is coming soon. I drive by a listing every single day that has had a coming soon sign on it, and yesterday it said coming soon. Today I drove by it and it says under contract. So that's real. that's sort of indicative of the market that we're in right now.
Yeah.
You know, it must have gone under contract between the time they put it on the market yesterday and, you know, today it's already under contract. So
sure. Depending on the neighborhood, it might not ever get to active. It might just go.
Yeah. Well, and I'll speak to that real soon. So coming soon is really a new and exciting option that we have now in our MLS system, especially inside the perimeter, much more than outside the perimeter. And we can actually, you know, advertise like that on a sign outside a property where people can drive by. But more importantly, we can advertise in our MLS system. And the main people that see that coming soon are, you know, other realtors working with buyers who are having specific searches up so that they get alerts when new properties come on the market. So by doing the coming soon alert to people, it's quite possible that's exactly what happened with the house Jonathan was driving by, is that somebody put in as coming soon. They contacted the realtor listing it, and the homeowner was okay showing this property to those people prior to maybe making it active to the whole world. And, you know, if the offer was good enough and the terms were good enough, then they went under contract and they never even had to be officially, you know, on the market to the whole world. So it's kind of a cool thing that we have as an option now. And that's a perfect example of what's going on right now. When something pops up as a new listing, whether it's coming soon or new, things are moving very quickly, especially if they're priced well, in good condition, and in a good neighborhood, which I assume this property maybe was in that.
La Vista Park. Yeah, it's
Vista Park, which is very desirable.
Great neighborhood, very desirable. Yeah, so I guess, you know, really, and just another comment is, you know, days on market. So if it never hits the FMLS, then maybe the days on market, that statistics that Robby have, are maybe just a tiny bit skewed if there's more and more of those coming soon that never officially hit the market, right? Interesting.
When I do the calculation for the days on market, there's some things I have to do manually. Like I pull reports, and then there's some like total days on market and sales price to list price. In order to combine single family and attached homes, I kind of have to do a spreadsheet and kind of manually type everything in and then calculate it. And as I'm going through and like doing this data entry on Wednesday mornings, I do notice that sometimes it's a 0 for total days on the market. So it might be interesting to go back and look and see if it was coming soon in FMLS and it just never made it to active or what.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, I just thought I would share that because I thought that I drove by today and I'm like, my eyes just were wide open. It's like, wow. Mm-hmm. So as far as, you know, as far as mortgages go, as I've mentioned in the past 13 weeks, you know, we have not slowed down at all. On average, in the last 2 months, we've closed, I believe in May, just over $1 billion, which is the biggest month ever. And June is going to be just probably right at $1 billion, maybe slightly under. And you know, a good portion of the May business was refinances because interest rates, you know, had dipped down to 3%, and I've actually seen it go down to the lowest I've seen it is 2.875, which is incredible that you can get a 30-year fixed mortgage at 2.875%. I mean, that is insane. But on average, you know, they've been ranging from 3 to 3, you know, 3.25 for a 30-year fixed. And ironically enough, the adjustable rate mortgages the rates aren't any better. So it's just, nobody's really locking into adjustable rates right now. They're going with either a 15 or a 30-year fixed, and 15-year you can get down in the low to mid twos. So it's crazy out there. So as far as the process of getting a loan through the system, due to the COVID-19, there really hasn't been any slowdown. We have allowed all of our employees at Ameris Bank to work remotely, and doing that and closing $1 billion at the same time just shows the power of technology, and that everything can be done through technology. And all the way, we're not having a problem with appraisers getting into properties. We're getting appraisal waivers on certain deals, meaning that an appraisal doesn't have to be done. If there's a situation where the homeowner doesn't feel comfortable letting an appraiser in, we might be able to get a what's called a desktop appraisal or a drive-by appraisal, where the appraiser actually goes out to the property, takes pictures of the exterior of it, and then bases the appraisal on other information that he can find through FMLS and other sources. And then all the way to the closing, the closing attorneys have really been great and providing options for people to close. So if somebody doesn't feel safe or comfortable closing face-to-face, in an attorney's office, there are options. You can do it, through a mail away. You can do power of attorney, and also Zoom, through Zoom calls is allowed. And the mayor of Atlanta had issued allowance for real estate transactions to close via Zoom through June 12th. And as far as I know, it hasn't. We can still do it. It hasn't officially, or I haven't received anything officially saying that it's been extended past June 12th, but I know that's still an option right now that we're offering. So it'll be interesting to see, how long that stays in place. After the COVID-19 sort of subsides, will that be something that will be, implemented as another option indefinitely, or will that go away entirely? We'll just have to wait and see. But the summary of what I'm trying to say is that the process of obtaining a mortgage and going through it all the way to closing has not changed. There has been no additional time required. You can close in 3 weeks if need be. And we're not having valuation issues with appraisal. So unlike, what happened in 2008, where the property values, tanked, that is not the situation with what's going on right now. So I'm sure we'll address some of these other topics, later in the call, but that's really what I've got for this week. So I will now pass it over to Felix.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it. And yes, now we are going to talk with Felix. He's with 210 Home Warranty, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what he does, what his company does, and speak about his experience over the last few months. And of course, he has to answer any questions at any time in the chat room or on Facebook Live. Just let us know. So the floor is yours, Felix.
Thank you so much, and thank you guys for inviting me. I'm happy to share some information about home warranties. First, I want to tell you about home warranties in general, not just 210. A little bit of education. Home warranties are here to protect systems and appliances. Basically, it's to cover claims on plumbing and electrical systems, and then appliances. Obviously, there are several warranty companies out there with different products, different types of coverage for different appliances. But in general, a home warranty, it's different than home insurance, okay? Home warranty is strictly for systems and appliances. So I'm going to address home warranties for 3 different types of customers. Let's talk about sellers. Some of you are sellers. Let's talk about buyers, and also let's talk about people that have already been in their home. They haven't closed, in the past 30 days. So can you get a home warranty? So I'm going to start with sellers. If you're listing, hopefully with Robby or Katie, when you list your property, it is highly recommended that we put a home warranty. In our case, it's a complimentary home warranty during that listing period, up to 6 months. Well, obviously, Jonathan was just talking about the market, and your house will not be in the market for 6 months. If it's in the market for 6 months, that's a separate conversation you need to have with Robby and Katie. But the coverage during the complimentary, during the listing period, again, it's complimentary, it's a no-brainer. Katie and Robby will contact me with the seller's information, the property address, and that's it. So how does it work? Let's say during the listing, the last thing you want as a seller is having to spend money fixing, let's say, the refrigerator. Something goes wrong with the refrigerator. Well, you already, spent, I'm sure, quite a bit of money fixing the house and getting it ready for the listing, and you're looking forward to your new place. So very handy to have a home warranty. We cover the systems and appliances, and let's say you have a problem with the refrigerator, all you're responsible for is the service fee. Now, to simplify things, we're all very familiar with health insurance. I kind of compare home warranties to health insurance. The service fee in the home warranty world is the equivalent to a copay in the health insurance industry. You go to a network, and it works pretty similar. When you are part of a, let's say you have health insurance, you're part of a network, you go to an in-network doctor, and you pay, you're responsible for that copay, $40, $50. With a home warranty, the same. We have a network of service providers. So when you file a claim for that refrigerator, we will dispatch one of our in-network service providers when they get to your place to fix the refrigerator. You pay that service fee. So service fee, think about it as a copay, and that's all you're responsible. Home warranties are, I want you to think of home warranties in general as repair companies. We will always attempt first to repair. Now, there are many instances where we are no longer able to repair an appliance. It's either too old or we can't find the right parts. So if we cannot repair it, then we will replace it. That is not the decision of the home buyer. That is the decision of the home warranty company. Again, we're going to try to repair first, but we replace appliances all day long. So if you're so lucky, we will replace yours. And again, you're responsible for that service fee. That's it. So that's for the seller. Just a no-brainer. List, and we will get you covered. For the buyer, your home warranty begins at closing. The day of closing, and this is one that you must purchase. In most cases, not always, but in most cases, your real estate agent may negotiate that for you and ask the seller to contribute towards the home warranty. And if that's the case, great. So the home warranty for the buyer goes into effect the day of closing and is good for 1 year. At the end of that year, it's renewable. Okay, so what does it cover? Again, systems and appliances, except that now you're covered for a whole year. And it works the same way as the sellers. You call in, file a claim, we dispatch a service provider, and you pay the service fee. We will repair. If we cannot repair, we will replace. Now, why is it so important to have a home warranty? First of all, because it will save you hundreds or thousands of dollars. And let's talk about air conditioning. 40% plus 40% of the claims in the home warranty industry are HVAC related. HVAC happens to be the most expensive system to repair, and needless to say, if we have to replace it, we're talking about thousands of dollars. It doesn't have to break or be replaced to, it could be something as simple as refrigerant or Freon. Something as simple as that could cost hundreds and thousands of dollars. Let me give you a very good example. Freon is the most common type of refrigerant, but there was a mandate that the government passed in 2015 where Freon was no longer to be manufactured effective date was the 1st of January of this year. So 1st of January of 2020. What that means is it is a non-environmentally friendly type of refrigerant. We have since 2015 moved to more friendly types of refrigerant. So what's happening is the supply of Freon will continue to go down because they're not producing anymore, okay? But the demand keeps going up because most air conditionings out there are operating with Freon. So eventually we will run out of Freon, and your air condition may not be able to be retrofit. In other words, to be retrofitted in order to accommodate the new type of refrigerant, which is mostly known as pure. So let me give you a very quick example. If you need 5 pounds of Freon today and you live in Metro Atlanta, a pound of Freon is going for about $250 to $300. But let's make it very simple. Let's say it's $200. 5 pounds of Freon, that's $1,000. If you do not have a home warranty, you're going to be charged $1,000, and you're also going to have to pay for that call. They have probably a fee. If you have a home warranty, now a 210 home buyer's warranty, we are one of the few companies that have unlimited and uncapped coverage for refrigerant, any type of refrigerant, including Freon. So let's go to the same case. Now you have 210 home buyer's warranty. You call in, file a claim. We dispatch the HVAC specialist. They realize you need 5 pounds of refrigerant. You pay $100, which is our service fee. And that's all there is. So instead of $1,000, $100. That alone will save you, again, in this case, $1,000. If you're the seller, if you're the buyer and the seller pay for it, great. But let's talk about now the third group of people with the same example. People like most of us, we've already been in our homes for months or years. Can I get a home warranty? Absolutely. As long as you go through Robby and Katie. In this case, you will be able to get the same product that we offer to new home buyers. If you can call our 800 number or any home warranty 800 number. Those ads that you will see on TV from different home warranty companies, those are consumer direct ads. So you call that 800 number or you go to our website, and you're going to be offered a different product, very good product, but it's different, and it could be more expensive. If it's less expensive, it will have less coverage. So because if you're in this call, you have a relationship with Robby and Katie, then all you have to do is just go through them. They will request a home warranty. We can make it effective immediately, and then it's good for a year. Who pays for it? It's someone is going to pay. We just send you the invoice and you can just go ahead and pay for it. But is it worth it yet? Yes, absolutely. In our case, the top of the line product that we sell is called the Supreme, and it's $580 for single family homes, $560 for condos or townhomes. So just think about it in that example that I just talked about. And that's a very simple example. Even if you pay $580, you save, another $500. But the bigger savings is if you have to replace that air conditioning or that HVAC unit, we're talking about thousands of dollars. Why? Now more than ever, HVAC is a heating component and a cooling component. Let's say the air conditioning breaks, we fix it, we cannot fix it, we'll replace it, fine. We'll replace that. But now we're replacing that cooling system with a new unit that most likely will not be able to communicate with the heating unit. And it's called SEER, S-E-E-R matching. So in order for that HVAC to work properly, we have to match. Our home warranty with our Supreme coverage does cover SEER matching. So what are the things to look for in a home warranty coverage? Make sure they cover electrical, plumbing, make sure they cover appliances, but you have to go beyond that and look at the fine print. What kind of coverage and what are the limits, especially for air conditioning or HVAC? I'm glad to say that we have, again, no limits and no caps for refrigerants, including Freon. And the limit of our, what is it, dollar amount limit for our air conditioning replacement? $25,000, unheard of. Every company will give you $3,500 at most. Actually, we do not have a limit. What the limit is, the entire service agreement, the aggregate of our service agreement, that becomes our limit, which is $25,000. So again, it's fine to look around. I'm comfortable saying that we have the most comprehensive, today, we have the most comprehensive product in the market. So again, seller, no brainer. Katie and Robby will take care of it. We'll put a home warranty when you list, and then you cover during that period. Now, keep in mind, we are not maintenance companies, 210 or any other home warranty company. I do not want you to get confused. Let's say you're a seller, you have a home inspection. Are we going to fix everything in that home inspection? The answer is no. Okay, we fix systems and appliances that need to be fixed, that need to be repaired or replaced. But we're not going to change light switches or light bulbs or a lot of things. So do not get that confused. Just think about it. If it's broken, needs to be fixed or repaired, then home warranties. Okay. Then if you're the buyer, the same thing. The buyer, and if you are in an existing home, again, we can help you. Just make sure you come through Katie and Robby, and then we can extend to you the same product that we're offering to new buyers. I don't know if you have any questions. There's a lot more, but it could be extremely boring. And we're at a happy hour. That ain't gonna happen.
Happy hour? No, you could never be boring, Felix. We like to.
Well, especially now,
I've actually got a couple questions.
I got it, so I cannot drink. So it's just I'm just having water.
May have some questions real quick. I was just going to let Robby speak if he wanted to, because he actually has personal experience with the home warranty.
Recent.
To share anything about that and in regards to what Felix said about it.
Well, I can share that I do have a home warranty with 210, and that I hadn't used it until real recently, actually in the last month. Actually, Felix, I think we were on another call maybe recently where we were talking about how everyone's at home so much and working from home so much and using all their appliances and systems so much lately. Maybe that's what's going on. But I've actually had to do 2 orders recently, one for my faucet, for my kitchen sink, and also one for my washing machine. It was just so easy. It's such a no-brainer. It can be very difficult sometimes to track down reliable contractors, and scheduling and doing all this stuff. It can be a little frustrating for people sometimes, but it was really easy with 210, and I'm getting a new washer, so that's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Into that. So it's just been, like you say, it's absolutely a no-brainer. Just to have that coverage is like, not only are you saving a ton of money, but you're just saving peace of mind. You just don't have to worry about that stuff. It's just, you're covered. So it's good.
Yeah. And you're right, Robby. The claims, we've seen a lot of unusual claims this time of the year in Atlanta. Again, the vast majority, 9 out of 10 claims are HVAC related this time of the year. And we haven't even had a heat wave yet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so lucky. But what we're finding is a lot of claims for kitchen ovens, refrigerators, which are kind of unusual, but there's a reason, and Robby just hit on it. We have been using our systems and appliances more than usual because we've been staying home longer. So now more than ever, it makes sense. Right. One other thing about getting the home warranty through your real estate agent is I'm the account executive for Metro Atlanta, and I have a relationship with your real estate agents. So let's say we're not perfect. I promise you we're not. But if something happens, you file a claim, the only thing I cannot do for the homeowners is to file the claim. You have to do that yourself. File the claim, and something goes wrong, or you feel like this is getting a little bit off track, all you have to do is call me directly. You will have my information, or call Katie and Robby. They will put you in touch with me. I'm a senior account executive, so I have the ability to go directly to Denver, our headquarters. I have a group of people that are in the office of our president. It's people that are strictly waiting for escalated claims. Anytime they receive a message from me, they will assign a customer advocate that is going to contact you, the client, directly. They will keep me informed. I will inform your real estate agent. But now we're going to establish a relationship with the top of the line, in claims with you. I'm the service provider, and we're going to get that claim back in track. That's huge.
Yeah.
So again, if you are not a seller or a buyer and you're currently living at home, strongly recommend that you get a home warranty. Do it through Katie and Robby, and then you will have the advantage of all this, and be able to go directly to me. If you go to Consumer Direct, that's a totally different line. And we also guarantee, and other things, we guarantee our repairs for the entire year of the service agreement. What that means is, let's go back to the refrigerator. Let's say you had a problem with the ice maker. We went and fixed it. Well, 5 months down the line, the ice maker breaks again. Could happen. Well, that second time, you're not responsible for that service fee that we talked about earlier, because it's recurring, okay? And it's within that year of the service agreement. So you're protected. We will send a service provider, the same or a different one, and fix it again. Most home warranties give you 60 days. We cover you your entire year of the service agreement.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're talking, but you're muted.
I'm sorry, that was really helpful information, Felix. And thank you for sharing your personal story, Robby. I thought that was relevant because sometimes
Very personal, but I don't mind sharing it. Very personal.
you hear about these things, you're like, well, what do people really think about who use them? And we always recommend them to clients.
The best.
Negotiate it to clients, but when we use it ourselves, we can really speak to it too. So,
Oh, yeah.
so that's great. So, and I know Jonathan had another question too. And before you say that, Jonathan, I just want to say to Facebook world and to Dorothy, we've got Dorothy on the call. I have you muted, but Dorothy, please let us know. I'm going to unmute you. If you have any questions at all, just let us know. And you can also put it in the chat box. I was trying to unmute you, but I'm not successful. So maybe you can unmute yourself. But anyway, Jonathan, go ahead and ask your question too.
Yeah. Hey, Felix. I have two questions for you, actually. The first is, with the 3 different categories that you mentioned, are there any waiting periods? So once you actually register for and pay for a home warranty with you guys, is there like a 30-day waiting period, or if something breaks on day 1, will y'all fix it?
Great question. And the answer is yes and no. So no for sellers or for buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes into effect for buyers, the closing date. That's the first day. For sellers, it goes into effect the day that we enroll that service agreement. Now we can even go to, I think Katie was talking about the coming soon. If you have one of those coming soon, we had to wait to put the home warranty on the seller side the day that that will hit the MLS or the FMLS. Now we can do it before. As soon as this coming soon, I'm confusing with Zoom, coming soon, we can put the seller. So for that, there's no waiting period. Now, for, let's say, Jonathan, let's say you've been in your place for 3 years, but you didn't have a home warranty, you want to buy now one, well, then there is a 30-day waiting period. So let's say you enroll at the 1st of August, then your coverage will begin the 1st of September, and it will be good for 1 year from the 1st of September. So you still get the 12-month, but we can, the first day, 30 days is actually to protect the company, the home warranty companies, from people not buying a home warranty until something breaks. And then something breaks and say, okay, well, now I'm going to go ahead and get the home warranty. That would be considered kind of pre-existing condition. But yes, now, in some cases, I am able to waive the 30 days. So again, come through your agent and I will do the best we can. There are circumstances where I can wait that 30-day and make it effective immediately. But that brings me to another quick point here on Jonathan's question is pre-existing conditions are not covered with any home warranties. So in other words, if you have a problem with going back to the refrigerator or the air conditioning, do not assume that because you got this home warranty and on day one you're going to call us and it's going to be covered. No. And there are ways to tell whether something is covered, was pre-existing or not. Granted that our mission is to fulfill claims. As a matter of fact, 97.5% of our claims nationwide were fulfilled last year. We're aiming to go to 98 this year, 99. That's a phenomenal number. Okay, this is the reason why we want you, number one, to file a claim so you can see the value of having a home warranty. What happened, and this is a true story, several years ago, I had a home warranty in my house. It was a 210 home warranty. I never used it. They called me on the 11th month to renew. I didn't renew. You know what happens next? 3 months later, I had to change the air conditioning. $6,000 out of my pocket. But I didn't see the value or the need. Why am I going to renew a home warranty? I didn't use it. So we want, number one, for clients to use it. And obviously, we want to be able to repair or replace so you see the value. If you call us, file a claim or 2 claims and we deny the claims, there's no value to you. You will not renew. And that's what we look for, the renewals, the long-term relationships. So hopefully that answered that one question.
You did. Thank you very much. And that makes perfect sense. My second question, and it kind of goes with what Robby had mentioned about his personal situation. But so let's just say that in Robby's case, that the washing machine couldn't be fixed. All right. So would your company pick out a washing machine and give him that, or would they give him an allowance based on, the type of washing machine he had? Is there, do they take into consider depreciation? If the washing machine was 14 years old, things of that nature. So how does that go? So I'm probably more curious about like kitchen appliances. Got, everything, you want everything to match, so to speak,
Keyword, you just mentioned the keyword match. So yes, but that's the answer. Yes, but. So number one, let's talk about the Robby's. What was it? The washer?
Yeah, my washer.
Okay, so let's say, to answer your question, that example, your washer breaks, you have a particular washer. We determine that it has to be replaced. We will match color and, most important, functionality. We will not commit to the exact same brand. Okay, so it's good. We're going to replace with something, first of all, new. We do not use refurbished. So if we replace with new. Some warranty companies may use refurbished. We use new, and it's going to match your color. So if you have stainless steel, you're going to get a stainless steel. You're not going to get a white or black appliance. And we will make sure that you have at least the same functionality. What happens with appliances, Jonathan, is that they're always changing and improving and getting better and more features. So the chances are of when we replace your dishwasher, or the washer, it's going to be a much more advanced product than what you have. Now, the second part to the question is, we have an option. When we determine that we need to replace the washer, you can ask for what is called a cash buyout option. Let's say your washer is, I don't know, GE Profile +++, right? And you want to get the same. You love that brand, okay? So what we offer you, you say, okay, what are you going to replace it with? You can ask us that question, and we're going to give you exact couple of choices that you may have. Sometimes you do not have a choice, and this is what we have. We're going to give you the make and model, everything, so you can look it up. And you can come back to us and say, you know what? No, I prefer to get a cash in lieu of the new washer that you're offering. What will be the allowance? And then we will make you an offer. And basically what we're going to offer you is what it will have cost us to replace that washer with the product that we are offering you. Keep in mind, that's never going to be retail price. Home warranty companies work with wholesale price. We're a large company nationwide. Something that you and I, let's say we get a washer for $1,000 at Home Depot, you and I, for $210, that same washer probably will cost $500–600. So when we make you an offer, it will not be the retail price of what you want, but the price of what we were gonna get for you. Let's say $600. Then it's up to you. You say, you know what? Send me the check, and that's the deal. Then we send you a check for $600, and you can buy all the wine in the world. You can buy a washer or whatever. You know, it's up to you. But that new washer will be covered as well with the home warranty, because remember, we cover systems and appliances that are in place. So that's a great option to have. But now we took it to the next level. I'm sure you guys have clients that have very, very high-end appliances, and they are, the brand becomes important. When you guys list a house, I was an agent, not a really good agent. That's why I'm not an agent anymore. But these two are very good. But when you when you have a house and the appliances are Sub-Zero or Miele or whatever, Thermador, that's part of the listing, and that's part of the appeal to that potential buyer. They want their Sub-Zero, let's say, refrigerator. So what happens when we get to that level? You may not get a Sub-Zero if we have to replace it. Right, back to Jonathan's question. Let's say you have a Sub-Zero, we have to replace it. We're going to find something with the same functionality. It may not be a Sub-Zero, right? And in that case, then we just call you and say, okay, well, this is what we have to offer. You may not like it. Then we're going to offer you what it will cost us to replace that with. Let's say we were going to replace it with a, I don't know, GE, for lack of a better word. And you said, you know what? No, I don't want the GE. But there is a cap. The most that we can cover for a refrigerator is $3,000 as per in the contract. Okay, so obviously that GE was going to cost us more than $3,000, but $3,000 here, it's really $6,000 because everything we work with is retail price, wholesale price. But let's go back to this and say, no, you know what? No, $3,000. Actually, that's not even going to get me near my $10,000, Sub-Zero. So now we have added an option called luxury. It's called the luxury package. And what that does is remove the limits on appliances. It's a $100 option. So instead of $580, if you add that option, which is highly recommended for people that are brand name driven, it removes that cap of $3,000. Now, which we will still may not get you that Sub-Zero, but now we may be able to get you $7,000 instead of $3,000, because we were capped at $3,000. That's the maximum we can ever give you with the coverage, the Supreme coverage for that per appliance, not for all, but per appliance. You have the luxury package. Now, you still may not get the sub-zero, but now we don't have a cap, so we may be able to get you $6,000, $7,000. Still not 10,000, but now you can, hey, listen, you just pay $680, you're getting $6,000. So again, there are options, but yes, color match, never brand is not guaranteed. If we could, we will. Okay, but you have the option of getting whatever we're gonna offer you to you ultimately approve or not the replacement. Once we say we replace it, you have the options. Yes, I take what you're offering, or no, I take the cash, whatever you give me. And then the third level is that luxury package for people that are brand driven, or they prefer, like I have a Miele dishwasher. That's the only thing I want for the rest of my life because it doesn't make any noise. I don't even know it's on. So I'm not a brand guy, but when it comes to dishwasher, I quickly learned that, great, I want that for the rest of my life. So I will be wanting that, so that luxury package will work for clients with that kind of appliances.
That's great. That's you got one of my questions in there too about the luxury or just the add-ons, because I know there can be additional add-ons that you can do too. So real quick, I just wanted to go to our guest that's on Zoom, Dorothy, and just see, Dorothy, do you have any questions at all for Felix or me or Robby or Jonathan? I didn't want to miss out if you had any questions at all about what's happening here in Atlanta real estate.
Oh, I've got questions.
Cool. Well, bring them on. We love questions.
No, I actually don't have any right now. I did have some in my mind, but you've answered them. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Great.
Yeah, I had a hard time unmuting myself, but I think I got it. Okay, good.
Oh, so we answered some of your questions about just
yes.
like stats and things of the market.
Yeah. And about warranties, etc. So I had some questions in my mind also about the coming soon. I know there's a lot of restrictions and rules and things that have to go in place for that. So you answered those questions.
Yeah, the restrictions and rules are mostly around time, the time that you can advertise either on the actual sign, on the street, if you will, or actually in our system. But, realtors, have this option. If you were like a for sale by owner, obviously you do whatever you want, but we highly discourage that. But, it's kind of it's been a neat option that we've had this entire year. And especially during this time, it's been really great for people that have been exclusively looking online or are working with realtors, maybe relocating and things. So they're getting the information sooner, than maybe everybody else. So yeah, it's a very cool thing that we like to utilize. Sure. Any other thoughts or questions that you have?
I have a question on that topic real quick. Just
sorry, I was just talking to Dorothy, but yeah, sure. Either way.
No, let him go. He might have my question.
Probably not. I was just curious. So let's just say you do a coming soon and it never hits FMLS. Mm-hmm. Does the homeowner or the real estate agents that listing it, do they still have to pay an FMLS fee, or is it never ever in FMLS and therefore that is not available?
I mean, that's a good question. That's a very technical, office-driven question, but I would just say the short answer of that is yes. But
yeah, that's why FMLS has kind of created this thing, because people were putting signs in yards and selling the house and it wasn't ever in the system.
Exactly.
If you put it in as coming soon, they at least can get their fee because
we advertise it there,
yeah. Even though it's not quite ready to list, but maybe someone's like, I don't care if it's ready, I'm buying it right now.
Exactly.
So you'll pay that fee. You will, rather. The agents will pay it.
Agents will pay it, yeah. Was that your question? Probably not, Dorothy.
It was not, actually.
Most people don't know that. Jonathan only knows that because he has to see all these fees involved in our transactions, but the average person doesn't look at that stuff.
So my question was, do most people do coming soon or not? And do they do coming soon because the house isn't quite ready because there needs to be an estate sale or the house needs to be staged, etc.?
Yeah. My experience has been that most people don't do coming soon. The people that have or that are interested in it or that we encourage to do it have been situations. For instance, I have a listing coming soon now. I have several coming soon, but I have one particular that's very close, and he just needs to do basically some painting. So it's minimal, things that need to go on in his home. So he could be a great candidate to go ahead and do coming soon because he's pretty much almost ready to go. And there's one thing he needs to take care of. Whereas oftentimes if somebody has some real work to be done cosmetically or interior, design, things like that, we discourage it a little bit more only because they're not ready for photos. And as we know, photos are everything for coming soon listings. So you can have a photo of the exterior, you can share some details, but without having really great photos, it's harder to advertise. Sometimes situations people might be either, relocating or wanting to move, out of the property before actually showing it. So recently, Robby and I had a buyer that we showed a property that was coming soon to our clients where the owners were in the middle of moving out. So they weren't quite ready to put it out there, but they were ready for people to see it in its current situation, prior to moving out. So we were able to show it, and it wasn't the right home for our clients, but at least it was an opportunity to get in there first, if you will. So it kind of depends on the homeowner's situation. In a situation where the client is ready to go, like the house is ready or it's vacant or everything's been done, there's not really a need to do a coming soon if they're ready to just go ahead on the market. So I don't know, does that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And I had another question. As far as, I know it's kind of like not something you discussed, but as far as having a house vacant, that is for sale, fully vacant or staged or partially staged, is one more preferred over the other?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Not vacant is typically ideal, staged or partial. If it's done well, if it's professional, or if the homeowners happen to have a good style and cleanliness and, they have nice things, that's kind of ideal. Not everybody is in that scenario. Also, it depends on the type of home and the floor plan. As you probably know, if you've been in homes that are very unusual or unique in the way they are set up, people have a very hard time envisioning where furniture is going to go, where's the bed going to go. Those are the homes that we really like to see staged because it can give us a visual of, how you would live in this home. But then, we have situations where it sometimes looks better vacant because they don't have, the greatest furniture, or they have too much. Oftentimes people just need to declutter and clear things out. So, it's a mixed bag. We've obviously sold both vacant and non-vacant homes, and Robby shows a lot of both as well. But I will say most people have a better experience when they walk into a home that is staged, if you will, whether it be the homeowner's items or just a full-on staging company coming in and bringing in furniture that would look nice in the home.
Okay.
Yeah, and we had a stager on here on our call a couple weeks ago, and she was really helpful, kind of sharing what she specializes in, and we've used her service many times too. And there are a lot of people like yourself, maybe an interior designer, or people that just have good taste and know what things should be where. We highly recommend clients talking with people and hiring people like that to let the home show it's in its best fashion, because if we walk into a house and it's literally a mess, or it doesn't make sense, or there's too much furniture, I mean, you just kind of, we want to turn around and run out, and we know the client probably wants to turn around and run out, and we have probably a better vision than a client does because we're in so many homes all the time, so it really makes a difference to have a well-staged home.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a friend who I work with who does staging. Mm-hmm. She does a lot of staging in Serenby for builders down there too. So I've had a couple of clients who we just finished renovating their house, and they're like, "Oh, we're moving."
Oh yeah. How
yeah, one moved from Crooked Creek to Roswell, and the house that they moved into is so funny because the house that they moved into in Roswell, great location, it's right off of Canton, and but their whole new house, including the finished basement, could fit into the theater room in their old house, which is hilarious. And I think they paid the same for that house in Roswell that they sold their house for in Crooked Creek, which is amazing.
Yeah, and that's another thing with space, you know, that's what I mean. You look at some really, really large, you know, luxury homes or homes that are over 5,000 square feet. I mean, those can be very challenging to stage, if you will, if they're vacant. So that sometimes you'll see just certain rooms and certain parts of the home stage, because it would be very expensive to stage a whole home like that. But, you know, I mean, you've seen, you know, every way.
Well, when I first started working with those clients in Crooked Creek, they were referred by a friend. I can't remember who. Oh, no, an architect that I work with. And they were just looking for paint colors. And when I went in, I was like, wow, they had a lot of stuff and a lot of dated stuff from like the 90s. So I went through and I'm like, please don't be offended, but how about if we kind of edit and eliminate a bunch of this stuff? And she's like, oh, I'm totally up for that. And I'm like, and this furniture in this room needs to go in this room, and this one needs to go in that room. So we just moved all, it was so funny because I went there for an 1.5-hour consultation. I ended up staying all day, and her husband and I moved furniture. Then I just went through stuff, and she said, I'll take it to Goodwill. And I said, no, take it to Southern Comforts Consignment and just sell it, and you might get some money. And she said, when she went there, she had stuff that she was going to give to them, and other stuff she was just going to donate to Goodwill. And they took the stuff that she was going to donate to Goodwill as well, like dusty old fake plants. And those sold, which was hilarious to me because I have an issue with fake plants. So I grew up my grandmother owned a florist, and she was a horticulturist. So it was like, no fake plants. So we had already done all of that eliminating before. And then we did a kitchen renovation for her, kitchen keeping room and a kitchenette, which ended up selling the house. And people from New Jersey who were actually relocating were the ones who purchased it, which in New Jersey and upper state New Jersey, there's a lot of people like those big grandiose houses with lots of crazy trim and big windows and basements that have a full kitchen and a billiard room and a home theater. You know, they love that, as to where I find Atlantans are more scaling down now these days to smaller homes in walkable areas. I mean, that's what I'm finding with my clients. Are you seeing the same thing?
That maybe people are scaling down in their larger homes and moving in town. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we worked with a lot of clients. We're working with some people right now that are living in one of those 5,000 plus, you know, East Cobb McMansions, if you will, and they're looking to move in town to, you know, a beautiful condominium, but I mean, a much more scaled down compared to their single family home. So yeah, and they want to be in town. They want to be able to walk. They want to be near their son and daughter-in-law, you know, lots of reasons to move in town and to have an easier lifestyle as well. Living in a condo, you don't have to worry about the backyard or the roof. You know, you've got a little more lock and go kind of style. So yeah, so that's cool. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you joining the call, and we look forward to talking to you more later. And I just wanted to ask Jonathan and Robby too, if you had any other questions, or if you had on your Facebook, if anybody had any questions on your Facebook Live. I took a look at mine, but I don't see
I've been looking at mine, and I don't have any at this time.
Okay.
No questions at this time either.
And then Felix, did you have any questions for us? I know you told us so much about the home warranties. We really appreciate you, but if you had any questions for us, we want to ask before we go.
No, but I wanted to thank you so much. And also, if you're listening to this, you can call me directly. And just when you call me, make sure you tell me that you're a client of Robby and Katie, and I'll be glad to answer any of your questions. My phone number is 678-468-4432.
Thank you so much.
If you speak Spanish, you can leave me a message in Spanish. I probably understand better.
I do not speak Spanish. I always have to call my sister-in-law, who's from Peru, to translate for me.
We have
you can call me now and I translate for you.
This is great.
If I'm at a job site and their subcontractors all speak Spanish, I'm like, I need to tell them something. I'll call my sister-in-law. She's like, translation? I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I go through that a lot. A lot of clients call me and say, the contractor is here and maybe you can translate. I say, sure.
I learned French. It's not come in handy for me at all. I should have chose Spanish.
That's a great resource. So if you are out there on Facebook land or on Zoom and you know, you've got Robby's and mine and even Jonathan's contact information, we can get you all of Felix's information. And of course it's on our replay of this that we'll post on Facebook, and we also email it out. I will say that next week is going to be our last wind down Wednesday / Atlanta real estate / COVID updates. That I guess it'll be 14 weeks next week that we've been doing this, and we really enjoyed it, and we appreciate everybody who's tuned in. But we're just going to wrap up this version of this weekly call, and then we're going to start back with something new, hopefully in August. So we're still going to be around and working and available. We just going to stop this version after next week. So hopefully we'll see you next Wednesday, 5:30, 6:30. And if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out, and have a great evening.